Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. Happiness. It's a word we hear everywhere, on social media, in conversations, in the endless stream of books and articles promising to reveal its secrets. Yet, for so many of us, happiness feels elusive, almost like a mirage in the desert. You chase it, thinking it lies in the next achievement, the next purchase, the next relationship, only to find it slipping further away. If you've ever found yourself wondering, why is it so hard to just be happy? Then Albert Ellis's groundbreaking book, How to Make Yourself Happy, is the lifeline you didn't know you needed. Albert Ellis, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century and the creator of rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT, doesn't just offer empty platitudes or feel-good affirmations. No, this book is a radical departure from the surface-level self-help you're used to. It's a no-nonsense, deeply practical guide that cuts through the myths, excuses, and societal pressures that often stand between you and genuine happiness. Ellis's approach is bold, direct, and refreshingly honest. He challenges you to confront the thought patterns and behaviors that sabotage your well-being and equips you with the tools to take control of your happiness, not in some distant future, but starting right now. Let's face it, life is messy. It's full of disappointments, conflicts, and unexpected challenges. But here's the truth that Ellis puts front and center. Your happiness doesn't have to depend on external circumstances. It's not about having the perfect job, the ideal partner, or a flawless life. It's about learning how to think, how to interpret your experiences, and how to respond to the inevitable ups and downs of life. And that's where How to Make Yourself Happy shines. Ellis teaches you how to identify the irrational beliefs that fuel your unhappiness and replace them with healthier, more constructive ways of thinking. It's like having a personal coach in book form, guiding you toward a mindset that fosters resilience, optimism, and, yes, happiness. What makes this book so transformative is its emphasis on accountability. Ellis doesn't sugarcoat the fact that your happiness is your responsibility. That might sound daunting at first, but think about it. If your happiness depends solely on external factors, you're at the mercy of things you can't control. But if you learn to take charge of your thoughts and emotions, you unlock a freedom that no one and nothing can take away from you. Ellis's methods empower you to reclaim that freedom, to stop blaming others or waiting for circumstances to change, and to start building a happier life from the inside out. Now, let's delve into what you can expect from this book. Ellis doesn't just tell you to think positively or snap out of it. He provides a roadmap for real, sustainable change. Using the principles of REBT, he shows you how to 1. Identify the core beliefs that are holding you back. Maybe you believe you must be perfect to be loved, or that life should always be fair. These kinds of beliefs, though common, set you up for unnecessary pain and frustration. Ellis helps you pinpoint these thoughts and understand how they're sabotaging your happiness. 2. Challenge and reframe your irrational beliefs. Once you've identified those harmful thought patterns, Ellis teaches you how to question their validity and replace them with more realistic, empowering beliefs. For example, instead of thinking, "I can't be happy unless everyone likes me," you'll learn to say, "It would be nice if people liked me, but my worth doesn't depend on their approval." 3. Cultivate emotional resilience. Life will never be completely free of hardships, but Ellis shows you how to build the mental and emotional tools to navigate them without losing your sense of happiness. By learning to accept reality as it is and focus on what you can control, you'll discover a new level of inner strength. 4. Develop habits that support long-term happiness. From improving your relationships to finding meaning in your work, Ellis provides actionable advice to help you create a life that aligns with your values and brings you joy. What's truly remarkable about How to Make Yourself Happy is its timeless relevance. Although the book was written decades ago, its insights are as powerful today as they were when Ellis first penned them. In fact, In a world where social media amplifies unrealistic expectations and the pursuit of perfection is often glorified, Ellis's message is more urgent than ever. He reminds us that happiness isn't about having a perfect life. It's about learning to live well, even when life is imperfect. As you listen to this book, you might find yourself having some light bulb moments, those flashes of clarity when you realize just how much power you have to change your own life. You might also find yourself feeling challenged, even uncomfortable at times. That's okay. Growth isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. And Ellis's compassionate yet firm guidance will keep you motivated every step of the way. So, why should you invest your time in this book? Because happiness isn't just a fleeting feeling, it's a skill you can learn. And when you do, the impact ripples through every area of your life. You'll find yourself approaching challenges with greater confidence, handling conflicts with more grace, and savoring the small joys that might have once gone unnoticed. You'll stop waiting for happiness to find you and start creating it for yourself. By the time you finish listening to How to Make Yourself Happy, you won't just have a deeper understanding of what it takes to be happy, you'll have the tools to make it a reality. And the best part? These tools aren't temporary fixes. They're lifelong skills that will continue to serve you, no matter what life throws your way. So, let's take this journey together. Let's uncover the barriers that have been holding you back, challenge the beliefs that no longer serve you, and build a foundation for lasting happiness. Welcome to How to Make Yourself Happy by Albert Ellis, a book that doesn't just promise change, but delivers it, one practical step at a time. Part 1 Summary of How to Make Yourself Happy by Albert Ellis, Ph.D. Albert Ellis, a pioneer of rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT, delivers a transformative guide to happiness in How to Make Yourself Happy. In Part 1, Ellis lays the foundational concepts and practical strategies to help readers identify the root causes of unhappiness and replace destructive thought patterns with empowering beliefs. Each chapter builds upon the core idea that happiness is a skill that can be cultivated through conscious effort and rational thinking. Chapter 1. You create your own misery. Ellis begins by challenging a fundamental misconception that external circumstances control our happiness. He argues that while life's events can influence us, it's ultimately our interpretations, beliefs, and reactions that determine whether we experience joy or misery. Ellis introduces the ABC model of emotional disturbance, a cornerstone of REBT. A. Activating event: something happens in your life. B. Belief: you interpret the event through your belief system. C. Consequence: your emotional response stems from your belief, not the event itself. For example, losing a job, A, might lead to despair. C, if your belief, B, is I'm worthless without a job. However, by replacing this irrational belief with a rational one, this is a setback, but I'm capable of finding new opportunities, you can transform your emotional state. Ellis emphasizes that we are responsible for our happiness because we control our beliefs. This empowering realization sets the stage for the practical methods introduced later in the book. Chapter 2. The Tyranny of Shoulds. In this chapter, Ellis explores how rigid should and must statements fuel unhappiness. Examples include thoughts like, I should always succeed, or others must treat me fairly. These unrealistic demands create unnecessary pressure and set us up for disappointment when reality doesn't align with our expectations. Ellis encourages readers to replace these self-imposed tyrannies with preferences. Instead of saying, I must never fail, you might think, I'd prefer to succeed, but I can accept failure as a learning experience. This shift reduces emotional intensity and fosters a more balanced, compassionate mindset. The chapter also introduces the concept of unconditional self-acceptance. Ellis asserts that tying your self-worth to external achievements or approval is a recipe for unhappiness. By accepting yourself as inherently valuable, regardless of flaws or mistakes, you free yourself from the constant need to prove your worth. Chapter 3. Irrational beliefs and their consequences. Building on the ABC model, Ellis dives deeper into the common irrational beliefs that sabotage happiness. These beliefs often fall into three categories. 1. Demandingness. Unrealistic expectations for yourself, others, or the world, e.g., I must always be loved. 2. Awfulizing. Exaggerating the negative consequences of a situation, e.g., it's catastrophic if I fail. 3. Low frustration tolerance. Believing you can't handle discomfort or adversity, e.g., I can't stand it when things go wrong. Ellis provides examples of how these beliefs manifest in everyday life, such as in relationships, careers, and personal goals. He encourages readers to identify their own irrational beliefs and examine how these thoughts contribute to stress, anxiety, or dissatisfaction. Chapter 4. The Power of Disputing Irrational Beliefs. Ellis introduces one of the most powerful tools in REBT, disputation. Once you've identified an irrational belief, the next step is to challenge and replace it with a rational alternative. This process involves asking yourself, is this belief logical or realistic? Is there evidence to support it? What's the worst that could happen, and can I handle it? For instance, if you believe, I must never make mistakes, you might ask, is it realistic to expect perfection? Haven't I learned valuable lessons from past mistakes? By systematically questioning irrational thoughts, you weaken their hold on your mind and replace them with empowering beliefs. Ellis underscores the importance of repetition and practice. Changing deeply ingrained thought patterns takes time, but the results, greater peace, confidence, and resilience, are well worth the effort. Chapter 5. Self-responsibility and emotional independence. In this chapter, Ellis addresses the danger of relying on external factors such as other people's approval, material possessions, or life circumstances for happiness. He argues that true happiness comes from within, rooted in self-responsibility and emotional independence. Ellis encourages readers to stop blaming others or external events for their unhappiness. While you can't control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. By taking ownership of your emotions, you reclaim the power to shape your experience of life. The chapter also explores the concept of emotional detachment. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or cold, but rather maintaining a healthy balance between caring for others and prioritizing your own well-being. Ellis reminds readers that sacrificing their happiness to please others often leads to resentment and burnout. Chapter 6. Accepting Life's Uncertainties. Ellis highlights a universal truth. Life is unpredictable, and uncertainty is inevitable. He argues that much of our unhappiness stems from resisting this reality or obsessing over what-if scenarios. The key to overcoming this fear, Ellis explains, is radical acceptance. Instead of demanding certainty or control, practice embracing life's unpredictability with curiosity and courage. He offers practical strategies such as mindfulness exercises and focusing on what you can control rather than what you can't. This chapter also introduces the concept of probabilistic thinking. By assessing the likelihood of worst-case scenarios and preparing for them, you can reduce anxiety and feel more equipped to handle life's challenges. Chapter 7. Creating a Philosophy of Happiness. The final chapter of Part 1 serves as a culmination of the principles discussed so far. Ellis encourages readers to develop their own personal philosophy of happiness, a set of guiding beliefs and values that promote resilience, contentment, and self-growth. Key components of this philosophy include prioritizing self-care and emotional well-being, embracing imperfection in yourself and others, cultivating gratitude for life's joys, big and small, viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, practicing compassion, both for yourself and others. Ellis emphasizes that happiness isn't a passive state, but an active, ongoing process. By committing to rational thinking and self-improvement, you can build a life of lasting fulfillment. Thoughts on Part 1. Part 1 of How to Make Yourself Happy is an empowering guide to understanding and transforming the root causes of unhappiness. Albert Ellis provides readers with a clear roadmap to challenge irrational beliefs, embrace self-responsibility, and cultivate emotional independence. With relatable examples, practical exercises, and timeless wisdom, Ellis equips readers with the tools to take control of their happiness and create a life of purpose and joy. The second part of the book delves deeper into applying these principles in specific areas of life, such as relationships, work, and personal growth. But part 1 lays the foundation, offering a powerful invitation to take charge of your emotional well-being and unlock your potential for happiness. Part 2. In Part 2 of How to Make Yourself Happy, Albert Ellis shifts from theory to practice, offering actionable steps to apply the REBT principles introduced in Part 1. This section is designed to address real-world challenges, focusing on specific areas of life that commonly cause distress, such as relationships, work, and personal setbacks. Through practical exercises and relatable examples, Ellis guides readers to implement rational thinking and cultivate habits that foster long-term happiness. Chapter 8. Building Fulfilling Relationships. Ellis begins Part 2 by tackling the complexities of relationships, a significant source of both joy and distress in life. He emphasizes that irrational beliefs, such as "I must always be loved by everyone" or "my partner must behave exactly how I want," are major contributors to relationship problems. The chapter introduces strategies to improve relationships through 1. Unconditional other acceptance. Just as you must accept yourself despite your flaws, you should extend the same grace to others. Recognize that people are imperfect and will make mistakes. 2. Effective communication. Learn to express your feelings, needs, and boundaries without resorting to blame or passive aggressiveness. 3. Letting go of unrealistic expectations. Understand that no relationship is perfect and that mutual respect and compromise are more valuable than constant agreement. Ellis also discusses the importance of not relying on relationships for your self-worth. A healthy partnership, he explains, is built on mutual support and personal growth rather than dependency. Chapter 9. Conquering Work-Related Stress. Work is another area where irrational beliefs can wreak havoc. In this chapter, Ellis explores how perfectionism, fear of failure, and the need for approval can create unnecessary stress and dissatisfaction in professional settings. Key takeaways include: reframe failure. Instead of viewing mistakes as catastrophic, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. Prioritize goals. Focus on what truly matters to your career and personal values, rather than trying to do everything at once. Challenge unrealistic standards. If you believe you must excel at every task or be liked by all your colleagues, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Replace these beliefs with more balanced perspectives. Ellis also highlights the importance of maintaining work-life balance. He encourages readers to set boundaries and avoid sacrificing personal happiness for professional success. Chapter 10. Overcoming Adversity. Adversity is an inevitable part of life, but how we respond to it determines whether it becomes a source of growth or prolonged misery. Ellis teaches readers to face challenges with resilience by applying the REBT principles to difficult situations. Strategies for overcoming adversity include: focus on what you can control, accept that some aspects of life are beyond your influence, and direct your energy toward what you can change. Dispute catastrophic thinking. Instead of assuming the worst, evaluate the actual likelihood of negative outcomes and prepare for them rationally. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness during tough times, rather than berating yourself for perceived failures. Ellis also introduces the concept of creative discomfort, which involves deliberately stepping out of your comfort zone to build emotional resilience and adaptability. Chapter 11. Dealing with Criticism and Rejection. Few experiences are as emotionally challenging as facing criticism or rejection. In this chapter, Ellis provides tools to navigate these situations without letting them undermine your self-esteem. He explains that much of the pain from criticism stems from irrational beliefs, such as, I must be approved of by everyone, or if someone rejects me, I'm unworthy. By disputing these thoughts, you can reduce their emotional impact. Practical tips include: separate yourself from the criticism. Recognize that criticism often reflects the other person's perspective, not an objective truth about you. Seek constructive feedback. View criticism as an opportunity to grow rather than a personal attack. Reframe rejection. Understand that rejection is a natural part of life and doesn't diminish your inherent worth. Ellis reminds readers that the opinions of others are just that, opinions. Your value doesn't depend on external validation. Chapter 12. Cultivating happiness through daily habits. Happiness, Ellis argues, isn't a destination but a daily practice. This chapter outlines habits that promote long-term well-being, including gratitude, focus on what you have rather than what you lack; mindfulness, stay present and fully engage with the moment, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future; positive visualization, imagine yourself succeeding or thriving in various aspects of life to reinforce confidence and optimism. Ellis also encourages readers to develop a routine of self-reflection. By regularly examining your thoughts and beliefs, you can identify irrational patterns and replace them with healthier alternatives. Chapter 13. Sustaining long-term change. The final chapter of the book addresses the challenge of maintaining the changes readers have made. Ellis acknowledges that setbacks are inevitable, but he emphasizes that they don't have to derail your progress. Strategies for sustaining long-term change include continuous practice. Just like physical fitness, emotional resilience requires ongoing effort. Keep applying the REBT tools in your daily life. Celebrate progress. Acknowledge and reward yourself for improvements, no matter how small. Seek support. Surround yourself with people who encourage and challenge you to grow. Ellis also reminds readers to be patient with themselves. Personal growth is a lifelong journey, and every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Closing thoughts on Part 2. Part 2 of How to Make Yourself Happy offers a practical blueprint for applying REBT principles to various aspects of life. By addressing challenges in relationships, work, adversity, and personal habits, Albert Ellis equips readers with the tools to create sustainable happiness. His approach is both empowering and realistic, emphasizing that while happiness requires effort, it's well within reach for anyone willing to take responsibility for their thoughts and actions. Together, Parts 1 and 2 provide a comprehensive guide to understanding and achieving happiness, making How to Make Yourself Happy a timeless resource for personal growth and emotional well-being. Read the book to learn more. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new video updates.